hit. Get the damage, of course. Clean up. There could be a counterspell. Right, they have the goose underneath the shark with the food. Hey everyone, welcome back and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch Hello Good Game. Today we're playing with Azorius Blink Blue and White Flicker, you may also know it as. This is a top mythic deck which reached rank number 5 in the entire world by Mythic Matt. So check out Mythic Matt for some incredible competitive MTG arena content. Today we'll break down the deck, talk about strategies, synergies, and then we'll break into our gameplay, showing you the playlines and interactions so you can have a first-hand experience of the deck before you decide to spend your wildcards on it or not. Thank you again for your time and attention. You can like, comment, subscribe, share the channel to your friends, families, MTG playgroups, local game stores, support financially on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, our Amazon link, our Great Viking Games link, our Into the AM link, and by downloading for free Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant. Of course, I do my best to support the community as well. We have a 500,000 gem giveaway, free cash prize monthly tournaments every single month on MTG Melee, Brawl, and Artisan format. 100 one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, also coming with $20 each, and every single YouTube live premiere comes with a chance to win $10 to Great Viking Games. All you have to do is like and comment. 100 likes, boom, I pull a comment, there you go. $10 to spend on arena codes, which is pretty cool. So with that all out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. Let's get into today's video. Alrighty, Mythic Matt, you've done it again. Yorion, 80 card deck, 3.5 average converted mana cost, 9 creatures with 44 non-creatures. We have 27 lands in the deck with some MDFCs to bring us up to, I believe, 31, which is quite nice. Of course, Yorion, as a companion, insists that we have 20 or more starting cards in our deck than we typically would, in this case 80. When Yorion enters play, exile any number of other non-land permanents we own and control, returning them into the battlefield at the end of our next step, our next end step, I should say, which is amazing, right? We can basically have a whole bunch of enter the battlefield effects within permanents, play them, get value out of them, play Yorion, get double the amount of value out of them. And of course, it's a 5/4 with flying, which is great. So, you know, that's the main premise of the deck. Enter the battlefield effects that you re-trigger with Yorion. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Before we break down the list though, I have to show you guys today's shirt. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Similar to the other days with the tree, which I absolutely love. This one's got some snakes on the bottom. You can't quite see it because they're green on my green screen. It goes through it, but nonetheless, super deadly swag. And did you guys know that you could get your first tee on me for free by downloading, or not downloading, joining the Into the AM t-shirt program there? It's like $14 or $15 a month. And you get a free shirt, well, not a free shirt, a $15 shirt every month. So if you use my link below, you'll get the first one free, which is cool. And 10% off on the rest of the store. But you know, with that all out of the way, it's got to be done, you guys. My apologies. We've got 4 copies of the tome. Now, this is our first 2-drop. You can scry 1. You can also draw a card for 2 mana. You only get to do either of those up to 4 times as a total combination, and then you sacrifice it, getting 4 life, right? So you get 4 activations of it, and then you get 4 life, whether they're paying 2 to draw or just scrying for free. 4 copies of Omen of the Sea, an enchantment with flash, scry 2, draw 2. We can sacrifice it later on for 3 to scry for an additional 2, which we won't unless Yorion's already been dealt with. In that case, sure, go ahead. But again, just the bounce effect, like I mentioned earlier, is really what we're going for here. 4 copies of Jwari Disruption, instant speed, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. Good early game, good, you know, when they're hitting 7, when they're hitting 8, you know, further ultimatum, further Ugin, you can still deal with it. And then, of course, it's got the land, which is great for us as well. So, not 31 land, we go up to 35 land, that means, with the ruins. We have 4 copies of the Birth of Meletis. When it enters play, grab a plains from your library, shuffle it as well. Next up, create a 0/4 with Defender, and then finally gain 2 life. Good against aggro decks, good for finding the land to make you hit those 6, 7, 8 drops consistently when we get there. And of course, the life gain's great too. 4 copies of the Glass Casket artifact. When it enters play, exiling creature with converted mana cost 3 or less till it leaves the battlefield. You can take tokens which don't go into exile, they just die, and then bounce it on more tokens, which is really great, or on a non-token later, so they're not getting a creature back when you do bounce it or flicker it. Absolutely amazing. Into our 3 drops now, 2 copies of Omen of the Sun, an enchantment with flash. When it enters play, create 2 1/1 human tokens and gain 2 life. We can sack it just like we would Omen of the Sea. Great bounce effect here. 4 copies of Skyclave Apparition, a 2/2, and enters play, exiling target non-land, non-token permanent with 4 or less converted mana. When the apparition leaves the battlefield, your opponent will create an XX blue illusion equal to that card's converted mana cost. A single copy of the Midnight Clock, tap it to add a mana. We can also pay 3 to put a midnight or an hour counter on it. And then once 12 hour counters have been accumulated, exile it, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your deck, draw 7. That's great. You can also organically get an hour counter on each player's upkeep, which is pretty cool. 4 copies of Saw It Coming at instant speed, counter target spell. We can also foretell it for 2 mana, which is quite nice. 2 copies of Niko Aris, 3 loyalty. When it enters play, when it enters the battlefield, create X shard tokens. The converted mana cost is 3 plus X, plus 1 up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Whenever that creature deals damage this turn, return it to its owner's hand. This is kind of nice, on something like the Skyclave Apparition, so we can take that exile effect again if we want, but, it's not really super important. -1, Niko Aris deals 2 damage to target tapped creature for each card that you draw on this turn. This is pretty cool because we can draw so many cards each turn. And then -1, you create a shard token, and the shard tokens, you can pay 2 to sacrifice it. Scrying 1, drawing a card. It's also an enchantment, which brings us now to one of our cooler combos. Archon of Sun's Grace, a 3/4 with flying and lifelink. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. It has Constellation as well. So whenever we cast an enchantment, or whenever it enters the battlefield, I should say, not cast, so it does have the chance to be countered, we're going to create a 2/2 Pegasi, and of course that Pegasi will have lifelink, which is great. We have 3 copies of Elspeth Conquers Death. When it enters play, exile target permanent an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Next up, non-creature spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. And then finally, return target planeswalker or creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with either a loyalty or a +1 counter on it. 2 copies of Seagate Restoration for 7 at sorcerer speed, drawing cards equal to the number of cards in our hand +1, and then no maximum hand size. Of course, it comes in tapped unless we pay 3 life. Similar effect within Emeria's Call, also for 7 sorcery speed, creating 2 4/4 angels. Everything else gets indestructible, basically irrelevant. Again, coming in tapped unless we pay 3 life for the land side. We have a single copy of Dream Trawler, a 3/5 with lifelink. Whenever you draw a card, the Trawler gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. Whenever it attacks, you draw a card, and we can discard a card, tapping it to give it indestructible, and it's a 3/5. We have, I believe, 4 copies of Banish Into Fable, which is really cool. It's nice to see this card actually work, and it almost works too good. Instant speed for 6. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, copy it if you control an artifact, and copy it if you control an enchantment. You may choose new targets for the copies, and then return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. You create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. So potentially 3 returns, and you gain 3 knights. Absolutely lovely, right? With that being said, we do have 6 planes, a Vantress, which we can tap, total 5 mana, scry 2. We have the islands, we've got the pathways, the temples, and the triomes. Faceless Haven, pay 3 snow mana. It's a 4/3 with vigilance, every creature type, and a Field of Ruin, in case there's any pesky land, like a Crawling Barrens, that we need to deal with. Of course, there's a sideboard, but we're only playing best of 1 today. If you're interested in the sideboard list, it's in the description below, right with the normal deck list, where it typically is. So that's the list. Strategies and synergies, it's a flicker deck or a blink deck, whichever phrase or term you want to use, playing non-land permanents that have enter the battlefield effects, right? Then using bounce effects or flicker effects to have those permanents re-enter play, re-triggering, gaining you a mass amount of value, right? Very, very cool stuff. We can also just go wide in the air with the Archon of Sun's Grace and all of the Pegasi tokens that you can create, which is really quite a lot of fun, controlling basically everything with Banish Into the Fable as well. So thank you all for your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, support the channel financially on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, Amazon, Great Vikings, Into the AM, and by downloading for free Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant, metagame analysis, deck statistics, collection information, my favorite thing, the deck advisor. You get to see what's going on, right? Based on your own collection that the thing will analyze. And you'll see how we don't have these cards, so we can't play those decks, but it lets us know which cards or which decks we can play, which is really cool. So check that out for free if you're on Windows. Thank you again for your time, for your attention. Enjoy this amazing deck, which reached Mythic rank number 5 by Mythic Matt. Check them out on Twitch. They're streaming regularly. I don't know if they've got a YouTube channel. Maybe someone can let us know in the comments if they do. And yeah, bro, sick deck. Thank you so much. Take care. Going first, struggling with the land a little bit. You know, no white source, even if we use Disruption, so we have to toss it. I think this looks good. What do you think, Maya? How's it look? Good? Yeah, she likes the look of it. So we'll keep it, and we'll toss Disruption. Playing slow. Okay, we have plenty of removal. Very good bounce targets for Yorion. Pass our turn. Omen goes out. We've got this. We can get a win today. I have faith. We're on the play. Right, Maya? Yeah. No one can stop us when we're on the play. Omen goes. This all looks great. Yorion in hand. Pass our turn. Archon goes out, and then we just start playing everything on top of it. They probably ramp here. Cultivate incoming. Mine is a new lap record? Not even close. Let's get after it. Archon goes out. I'm a little worried about the double turns. All the Yorion shenanigans. Gilded Goose, interesting. It's not in my all-around deck. But I know this is all-around. Oh, it's a mutate. The 5 CMC. You know what they don't want to bounce? Yeah. Alright, that's not a card you want to be letting re-enter play every turn. Because I'm going to find an answer. Card. It comes in the form of Elspeth Conquers Death. And Doomskar, yeah, so bounce Yorion, Doomskar you. Still worried about all-round. That's okay. This is fine. This is fine as well. I think we're gonna get a win here. Land goes in. 2 mana. Doesn't quite work. Should have played our pathway. That's on me. I'm gonna take the Polywog. Just because of the draw effect, the cycling it can do within the deck. And then if we don't attack it, makes them want to bounce it even more, right? Because it's a defender. Light Blade in play. Going to the sideboard. I don't appreciate that. Who does? They have to reveal it. Okay, I don't mind that. For 7. We can trade with the 1/1. It's no threat at all. Now that is interesting. We basically have to bait out this 7 drop. Just waiting on everything, right? Not doing anything sometimes is the best thing. That's a lesson from today. Sometimes doing nothing is best. In this case, it does appear to pay off for us. Take the hit. Get the damage, of course. Clean up. There could be a counterspell, right? They have the goose underneath the shark with the food. Guess we get lucky. I don't know what else to call that. We'll put our own counterspell to the side. Everything's tapped, doesn't matter. Whatever they take has already entered play. So they just go for the scry. Bay goes in play. Sure. Could still be a counterspell there somewhere. Like, what is this? They have to take a casket. Obviously, we can sacrifice either of the Omens if they try to take one of them. Awkward. I mean, it's all really a shamble. Alright, so they finally decide that it doesn't matter in the end. We'll take our scry. Clock's cool, Niko Aris is even better. They have 9 mana, right? They could do lots here. Cultivate. That's fine. Thinning their library. We just want to hold up this Sot coming, basically. I assume this is it. Alrund's Epiphany. It must be. So it is. That's our turn. Game. They don't get their draw. One more match, and then we're gonna call it quits. Alright, we go first. Land looks good. Let's get a win here, and then it's like we didn't totally embarrass ourselves. Luris, so the apparition's great. Eyes screaming at me. All good though. Oh, the Rune Crab. How I love thee. I always knew you'd look better with this Glass Casket. It should have been a crab in there the whole time, not a fox. I mean, the Flourishing Fox in the Glass Casket does make a lot of sense, but so does the crab. Let's just play it nice and slow. It can be an island. Field of Ruin can take out a dual land if they play it. Oh. Oh. Bring Yorion over. Really, so many apparitions. Kind of redonkulous. It's like a lot of bounceable exile. Do they have any tokens that we'd want to get with the casket? I don't know. So if they keep discarding and we keep foretelling, that's net gain for us. We can both casket and apparition on the same turn to try to push through counter magic. That could be good. This 100% pulls counter magic against a rogue deck. What? They didn't even stop, so that signifies to me that they don't even have it. That's crazy. Is ready to set a lap? No, she's not. She's out of here. Doesn't want any part of it. Lurrus in play. There's nothing for them to utilize with it. They can start cycling the Wind Robber. That's not a bad play. Take the turn. Wow. I have no words. I've never played against a rogue deck like this. Incredible. The apparition is nice because even if they deal with it, Lurrus is gone. They did get a 3/3 blue illusion. It's really nice. I think they're gonna scoop. Right? There's no way they're into this. And we can take the token with the casket, and that's really good for us. Just kill the dual land, I guess. Not great, but it's should be done. That we can get another colored source, which is helpful. Casket takes the illusion. Again, this should be countered. Should this be countered, Maya? Yes, it should be. Maya's like my magic 8-ball. But we don't want to take too much damage always, right? So what if we get an apparition out that doesn't have anything underneath it? And then we can just like be bouncing it with Yorion. Because eventually that midnight clock will come to pass. Get the counter. Gonzo. Drazo. We're down to 37. We're at 64. Main phase Enforcer. Land counter. For 3. Sure. Counter magic up. Take the Enforcer. We push this to the side in case we don't use it. Alright, we still have 2 mana for it. If we can get the clock to pop, you know, it's going to be a pretty friendly scenario for us. More removal. That's fine. 5 cards in hand. Probably 3 of them are into the story. Huh. Huh. Right. 3 more into the stories. Big hit here. Crowd goes wild. Playing the field. Let go this trial. Land in play. 2 mana up. There's no Yorion's here. Yorion's gonna get in there. Doesn't really do anything. It's a good draw. We have to play it now, if we do play it. I'm at 0 because I want the clock to go off. To 11, and then we sadly lose this apparition, who shall be remembered. All these groovy cards back into our deck. Full hand. There go though, right? We have no counter magic up, but I'd rather have Yorion in play than hold up counter. Oh! 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 Maybe not. Guess not, right? I guess not. Silly rogue. Oof. I want to play them both, but that's so greedy. We'll play one. We'll play one. And then we've got 2 omens, right? We hate the crab? No. Crab can do whatever it wants. We'll get it in the next Doomskar. Yep. Tome, Niko off the top would be so sick for us right now with all this mana and Archon in play. Oh wow. This is exactly what we're looking for. Perfect. And we are the owner of Yorion, so it comes back to our hand. They've been a real trooper this whole time. Okay, Blood Chief's Thirst. It's their last card. Let's pass our turn. We have Omen of the Sun up. And saw it coming for a total of 5 mana. Thanks, bro. Craft does cool stuff, I'll admit, but I don't think it's a threat for us here. Oh yeah. Hold down, baby. Take you. I'll take you. Fortunately, there's not enough targets for us to hit, but hey. 2 is A-okay. And we bash. Bingo banger. Bongo. We may as well just play that and turn. Good game. We get the win. Absolutely love. All right, so we were out to a little bit of a slow start with the deck, couple losses, but you know, I'm just learning how to play it. Those are my first 4 games with the deck in general. I'm so behind in my real life schedule that we're struggling a little bit, but this is where I love being able just to fall back on the rest of the community, like Mythic Matt, you know, one of the best players in the world, pairing it up in Mythic rank this season, number 5, and you know, it allows me to take some of that time, which I would normally spend making a new deck, I get to, you know, go play with Maya for a second. I get to go buy groceries. Maybe get this haircut one day. We'll see though. I might be asking a lot. But regardless, thank you all so much. Have yourselves a magical day, and we'll see you soon in the next video.